Hello and welcome to True Guidance Tarot. I'm Adriana Teodoro-Dier. I am a spiritual medium and intuitive reader. I've got a message today for Aries. And to let you know how this works, I have asked my guides and spirit to bring a message through the cards that is going to be deeply beneficial and helpful for you this week. And if you are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, and I strongly encourage you to subscribe so that you can stay in contact with this high vibration guidance and support every week. Really helps us to stay connected to that higher energy. And if you're returning, thanks so much for sharing your time with me. I always love hearing from you, and I value your support so deeply. And I also value the chance to share this journey and story with you. So let's get started, Aries, because I don't want to even call it a mixed bag because, well, let me just start. Let me just get into the reading. I'm going to show you these two cards at first. So the Five of Swords is the energy presented by the universe to you this week. The King of Wands is how you respond to it. So we've got two very different energies going on. But let me start with you. So this is the King of Wands. This is the highest expression of that Aries fiery directed energy. But this says to me, you mean business. You're focused. You've got your direction. You've got your path. And it's kind of like nothing's going to stop you. I love this card. It's almost like his energy makes the air, makes the energy around him part, makes the environment. And there's all these lions kind of coming up. I know it's hard to see with this camera. So anyway, he's got all this raw power, all this raw force, and that's you. You're like in the lion's mouth, ready to go, and you're roaring. And it's like the doubts are gone, all the stuff that you do to waste time and procrastinate, that's all gone. You're on this course and you're there. Now, the magnitude of your confidence and the force of your direction is perhaps causing some friction in the environment around you. I'm talking about the people around you. This may be co-workers, this may also be family members. They're kind of a little bit unsettled by this show of strength, and they're unsettled by your force of direction. So there's two things going on here. On one hand, we know that it's not going to bother you. We know that you're so strongly set on your course that nothing's going to pull you off. But the other message I'm getting is that you need to watch what's going on behind your back. And I mean this quite literally. Beware of backstabbing, beware of stuff that you're not maybe thinking of. So the King of Wands is like a horse with blinders almost. He's looking in one direction, but he's kind of not paying attention to the undercurrents and the little, the whispers, the water cooler, like that kind of stuff. And it's not that you should be paying attention to those to distract yourself from your path, but you need to be aware of what's going on. And whenever anyone is engaging in that kind of gossipy, insecure, backstabbing behavior, it's exactly what I just said. It's because they're insecure. And when you show up so secure, you're definitely, anyone is bound to be, let me rephrase this. When someone shows up so secure, other people that are not as secure are very threatened by that. And it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the way that they feel inside and the fact that they're not willing to tap into their own power. But it could mean that they try to throw some things in your path, some obstacles in your path. So if at least you're aware of this, you might know what's coming up. So let's look at the rest of this story. It really I just gave you a sneak preview of what's going on. We've got the Five of Pentacles going, and that's facing the Two of Pentacles, and then on the other side is Strength. Now this is also another lion card. Now do you remember how I said before that you, the King of Wands, are in the lion's mouth? Look, she's holding that lion's mouth open. So when I drew these cards, my guides very clearly said allies. And so Aries, I want to say to you, who are your allies? We've got this Five of Pentacles energy. This is like those insecure, lower energy, kind of backstabby kind of people. They're feeling like they don't have enough, feeling like they're not enough. And that's why they get so triggered or rattled or whatever when someone who is sure of themselves shows up. So this card is further showing you, don't take this personally. This has nothing to do with you, but be aware of what their actions are. The Two of Pentacles, I love this. This is like your ally or your friend showing up, and it's telling you that you really, really need to not only stand behind your allies, but be in touch with them. These two things. You cannot hold that lion strength without that ally. And you see almost like the ally is coming between you and this backstabbing kind of energy. It's almost like a protective energy. Like they're there to help protect you. So allies can be people outside of you, friends, or someone who has your back, but it's also saying to you, Aries, remember what your own allies are, what your inner allies are. Is it strength of purpose? Is it compassion? Is it the ability to get things done? Remember your allies, because this little thing coming to get you, oops, King of Wands just fell on the floor. This little thing coming to get you is not a big deal, but you would need to make sure that you've got your, kind of like your spirit warrior armor on, because if you don't, he has the potential to become a bigger force than necessary. And it's really interesting that they give me this message twice, once with the Five of Swords and once with the Five of Pentacles. So this says two things. You're really on a roll, but that confidence really is unsettling to someone or some people. But again, let's focus on the solution here. Solution is to keep those allies close, be in touch with your allies. If you're not able to pay attention to what's going on, those little murmurs kind of backstage, at least have your ally paying attention to that, and make sure to check in with them and say, hey, what's going on? What's the word? What's the word on the street kind of thing? Make sure that some part of you, whether it's through another person or an actual part of you, is paying attention, is keeping your ear kind of on close to the ground. And I want to stress that this is not so that you can conform to what these people are doing. It's so that you can be aware of what they're doing. Because when someone is sabotaging themselves by not living up to their own power, all they can do is try to sabotage you, because they're projecting their own relationship with themselves onto you. And these cards are saying to you so much: stand up in your strength, be strong, don't waver. That's not the point, but the point is to be aware and to gather those allies very close to you. There's one more thing coming through, so just give me a second to figure out what they're trying to say. They're also trying to say that this strength card is showing up to show you appropriate use of strength. So when dealing with these people that are not on the same page as you, so I'm talking about that insecure, backstabby kind of energy, gentleness is what catches more flies with honey than vinegar, right? Just mix two metaphors there. But being gentle, understand that you've got this fire burning so strong that gentleness doesn't dilute it. What gentleness does is put the other person at their ease, and it kind of causes them to stand down. So I don't know, that this is just popping into my head, but sometimes when dogs are like triggered and they're barking and barking and barking because either they're on the defensive or they're trying to really assert themselves as to, this is my territory. Sometimes you'll see owners that will just kind of yell at them, and then the dog responds to that tone of voice and they bark even more because they think, oh, there's something else to be afraid of. But then you see owners sometimes that just talk very low and very quiet to their dog, and then all of a sudden the dog just calms down. So that defensive behavior completely goes away with a gentle, slow, and low tone of voice. So that's also maybe a message as well, that in your dealings with other people, your energy is going to be high. It's going to be heightened, and you hear how my voice is getting more and more like intense and higher. Sometimes that passion is too much for people. And so if you just, when you're talking, be sure to talk with maybe a lower and slower tone of voice, and then they're not going to feel so threatened. I can see this so clearly, so I hope that the gist of it is coming through to you, that when you have someone who is insecure in themselves and not able to take that full force of passion and energy that you so are able to hold, that when you kind of come down to, hey, this is what I'm doing or this is what I'm feeling, when you come down to that slower, calmer, more neutral space, they're kind of like, oh, okay, I'm not threatened anymore. And you can go on your merry way doing what you're doing because, like I said, you're on a mission. But this helps kind of ease the wheels. It helps you do what you have to do without people getting in your way, essentially. All right, so if you've got questions about that, please reach out in the comments below. Also, always want to let you know that I'm available for one-on-one readings over Zoom if you're looking for a little bit more clarity, or if you have some specific questions for spirits and for the other side. And I wish you a great week. This really was a very positive reading, so I'd love to hear what happens with you, and I'll see you next time.